kind of squash, it's going to be what it's going to be. Because I did not plant butternut. Last year I was supposed to be planting round zucchini. But I got butternut.
Oh, wow.
And we're gonna go ahead and get started. You got anything you want to say?
Oh, I just want to say welcome everybody. Thank y'all for coming out this evening. Tone, thanks for inviting me. I'm Randy Riggins. We do 540 radio here in Roanoke. Grassroots, man, pretty much started it from zero, and saw how powerful the tool of media is, and you know how we could use that to record our own narrative, create our own stories, you know, and capture our own stories from right here, and you know, narrate them in the way that they should, show us at our best and show us striving to be greater than what we portrayed to be. So that's what we do, and we getting down.
Yeah, you can sit anyway.
What's going on, Marty? Welcome.
Hey, bro, we got the melon salad in the kitchen, and we got beverages too. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, Rep Flow in the building.
Rep Flow salad. Personal security.
Yes, but just want to thank y'all for coming out and give it to Tone so he can do his thing.
You got anything you want to say, Tone?
Yeah, just like Randy Riggins was saying, I'm Antoine Calloway. Got a day job, but in the evening I do community kind of service work or do anything for the community I possibly can. This is NNEO. If y'all not familiar with what NNEO is, it's the Northwest Neighborhood Environmental Organization. So they own about 70 different properties over here in between Loudon and Gilmer. So if you're not familiar with it, they own one of the biggest properties is McCray Court down the hill, which is an assisted living, kind of like a senior housing for individuals. They also own Thornhill Manor or Thornhill Place right here on the hill, and then they got a bunch of other properties. We're also looking to collaborate with John Lewis to do some things in the community as far as urban farming, not gardening. We're looking at it more like farming, so we're going to try to do that in the near future. If you want to know a little bit more about what's been done here, there is a flyer right there in the front. Feel free, if you got any questions, ask me. This is a space that we want to start to kind of utilize to do community events like this. So if there's anything on your mind or anything that you can add as positive feedback, feel free to let me know, and we'll help you out with it. There is a sign-in sheet for people. Just put your name there. You can put your telephone and your email if you want to be contacted. If you don't, fine. Just put your name on it so that way when it comes down time, when I have to turn this information in to the organization, at least I have it to turn it in to say we've had an event or whatever. Mm-hmm. Also, we do have some respected elders in our presence, and usually before you're able, really before you start something, you should ask the elders, for their blessing and be able to speak and talk. So, do we have the ability to speak and talk today for our elders, Doc and Miss Amazetta?
Yes, you do, dear, from me.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
You got anything you want to say, Dr. Imhotep? Any updates on your book? And you want to talk about your book a little bit before we get started?
We've always been taught that the first Americans were Indians and not anyone else. So did a little research and found the first Americans were Africans. And came over 100,000 years ago, possibly. The new day is now 120,000 years ago. And slowly, cultures change every 100 years. So after you're talking about 100,000, 120,000 years, then this culture has totally changed. And they changed from Africans into Indians. And so going out to some of the powwows, and I start a little trouble, but I hear this stuff about how we always been here, the Native Americans, and I say, what do you mean you always been here? We've always been here in this land. I said, well, what's the evidence? They have no evidence, it's just a story. And we go a little further, we say, well, in North, Central, and South America, the only bones that they can ever build, come up with are Homo sapien, and that is the modern man. Okay, they don't come up with anything older than modern man. No Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo afferens, or even Neanderthal. All they can show is that. So how they possibly have developed here? It's Africans, and that's the gist of the book.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I will say I've read the first edition. That looks like a different edition to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second edition.
And I've actually read quite a bit of the first edition, and it does have a lot of citations to works and anything like that. So it's very well done as far as.
Pass it around.
Yes, sir. It's very well done as far as citing sources and things like that, information.
Okay. All right, so my name is Antonio Stovall. I'm Roanoke City's wellness warrior. That's what I do. I enlighten the people on health and wealth. I mean, that's my passion in life. I had some stuff I wanted to pull up on my laptop, but the internet's not working, so I'm just gonna work off my phone. It's all good. All right, so this is just like a meet and greet, just because I'm gonna be doing one of these every single month. Every month I'll do a different wellness circle. And the purpose of the wellness circles is to start up conversation. You know what I'm saying? We need to have these different types of conversations that a lot of our activists or political figures here in Roanoke are not having. And another thing is to spark unity under like the notion of health, because that's something that we all suffer from. We all had somebody in our family suffer from some type of disease. So disease is something that's really hurting us as a people, and that's something that we can unify under the notion of healing and becoming better through health. So the purpose of this wellness circle also is to have a positive environment. Like, I grew up in Southwest, I never had a positive environment of elders, of other brothers and sisters that I could that share the same goal as me, to want to become a better person. So that's another goal of the wellness circle. Another thing is the goal is to inspire each other to live a healthier lifestyle and to hold each other accountable. And it's a reason why all of us are starting to wake up. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. And it's important that we start to come together and bring our minds together to figure out that reason. Because we're not just waking up. Like, we've been prepared for something. And I'm not saying I know what it is, but we are being prepared for something. So it's important that we start to come together. And this is also an environment of education. That's one of the reasons why I brought Dr. Imhotep in here, to enlighten us about different information. So each time we come here, we're going to get educated, because our people, we need education. Not the education that came from our oppressor, but education that comes from us. So what's the goal? The goal is to educate the people on the importance of eating healthy by taking back our life from the corporate kitchen. So this particular wellness circle today is going to be dealing with the corporate kitchen, leaving the corporate kitchen. So we are consuming foods that were created in labs that are engineered to cause disease in our body. It's up to us now to return back to the healing kitchen. Our ancestors had a clear blueprint on what foods we should consume. The foods that came from the earth and was prepared with love. The foods of our ancestors healed us on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. We are now consuming foods that are slowly destroying us. What we are facing is called nutricide, and nutricide is the deliberate, systematic alteration of foods in order to cause physical and mental disease, genetic mutation, and or death. So that's what we're seeing, like with the food now. Like, they are like chemically altering the food. So when we consume these foods, eventually it's going to start to cause sickness in the body, and we can see that's what's happening in the black community. So what comes to, I got a question for y'all. So what comes to mind when y'all hear like corporate kitchen? The concept of corporate kitchen. What comes to mind? Anybody? Huh? McDonald's, okay. What else?
Hey, I know what came to mind, man. I noticed when I be getting food at the grocery store regular now, it'll be looking good on the outside, but I noticed some of it, when you slice, it'll peel it up and it'll be rotten from the inside out or something. And just don't seem natural.
Yeah.
Talk about vegetables.
Vegetables, even fruits like apples. I used to get a lot of apples and oranges, and it's like as soon as you get, bust them open, like they'll be rotten from the inside.
I know one thing, when I was locked up for a little bit in Roanoke County, and they had an issue with the apples there.
Okay.
And they would be yellow or green and red apples, look good. And I remember I didn't bite into it because I'm allergic to raw apples.
Okay.
But I saw a guy bite into it, and he immediately spit it out. because the inside was just mush.
Mm.
So it's like, it's if I were to assume, I would just think it's some sort of preservative type.
Keep it looking
Keep it
good.
looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it's really rotten for real. That's crazy.
When I think of the corporate kitchen, I mean, up until recently, like the last 5 months, that probably was my house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm.
if I'm buying, some of the things that you're speaking of, if I'm buying food that has GMO in it, or bad food, then I'm just an extension of what that kitchen would be.
Exactly.
So I would think, if we haven't cleaned up our refrigerator, like really gone in there and cleaned up the cabinets and cleaned up the refrigerator and the freezer the way we're supposed to, then really our own homes is part of the corporate kitchen.
Mm-hmm. And we're pretty much committing our own suicide when we support the corporate kitchen.
What is GMO?
Genetically modified organism. Do you want to build on that? I'm actually going to talk about that in my...
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. So the corporate kitchen is a concept that is anti-life and doesn't share the goal of using foods to heal the body and mind. The goal of the corporate kitchen is all about profit and creating foods that will eventually slowly break down the body to cause disease. Once we start getting sick, they create another institute that will treat our sickness. The corporate kitchen has infiltrated every aspect of our life, from the school system, the prison system, holidays, etc. So what is the corporate kitchen? The corporate kitchen would be considered fast foods, restaurants, school food, hospital food, prison food. The corporate kitchen creates foods with little or no nutritional value. These foods include, but are not limited to, processed foods, GMO foods, and fake foods. So what drives this industry to move like this? That's another question.
Money.
You already know. Money. What else?
Us,
Greed.
Greed.
we eat so much, so they have to produce it in such a quick way that they just put it together anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's conditioning,
It
yes.
also was a way to keep hospitals profitable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cure in it. They didn't show exactly.
Yeah. So what's the origins of fast food? Like, when did it emerge, and what was the goal?
I say
This is 1800.
because I was studying marketing at Virginia Western, and they hit on that, and it was basically that alternative as the daily life for families was picking up, and mugs needed to grab something quick on the go.
Mhm.
That was the origin of it.
So who was like the first restaurants, fast food, quote unquote restaurants?
Shoot, McDonald's was one of the first.
You said first. Yeah.
Wasn't the Little Burgers one of the first?
Yeah, that's exactly. It was the first. Yeah, arguably the first fast food restaurant originated in the United States with A&W in 1919 and White Castle in 1921.
Okay.
Today, Americans founded fast food chains such as McDonald's in 1940 and KFC in 1952 are multinational corporations and outlets across the globe. So who are the people that are making these foods? So the people who are making our foods, like, who are these people? We got to ask ourselves these questions.
Government.
Like the government, what's their values? Do they share the same goal as us when it comes to health and wealth? So if they don't, like, why do we continue to support that?
Lack of education.
Exactly.
Lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
And programming.
Exactly.
Convenience.
They do
The
support it
convenience.
though.
But
They don't eat that
the
stuff.
crazy thing is, though, if you on a budget, you can go get you a burger for $1.
Right.
I mean, that's a quick fix.
Right.
Get you about 5 burgers, $5. You feed your whole family with it.
So check this out right here. What fast foods was introduced to the public? Like, when these restaurants came to being, like, what foods did they introduce to us to the public? What foods was it?
Beef,
Beef. What else? Pork. Potatoes.
GMO potato.
Okay.
What is a hot dog? What is a hot dog?
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the garbage.
So hamburgers, fries, milkshakes, starchy and mucus forming foods. So we were conditioned to eat starchy foods and dairy foods before birth because our ancestors, our mothers and fathers, they were eating them. So we came into this world with that in our blood. So that's why a lot of us have a hard time, like, overcoming these particular foods. So that means we're gonna have to start cleaning out our blood, and you do that by eating the dark leafy greens, detoxing, juice and smoothies and that type of stuff, working out, etc. So it says your parents ate these foods, and you came into the world on this diet. Now we have to clean our blood and our perspective on food and diet. That's why we have a hard time breaking the cycle, because we were born into a toxic environment. We have a health crisis in the black community. Improper nutrition, not eating the right foods, and miseducation. Like, one of the biggest myths in the black community is that we need meat for protein.
Yeah, bro. I just talked about that. I mean, you got this common sense. Cows don't eat meat.
That's what I'm saying.
And then horses don't eat meat.
Gorillas.
They rip.
Elephants, rhinos.
What's that?
Rabbit even, he don't
Oh,
eat
here.
meat. He's supposed to be in the rodent family.
Yep. And another myth is it costs too much to eat healthy.
Right.
I mean, that's just an excuse. Like, my dad always hit me with that. Like, why is if we got to eat healthy, why does it cost so much? I mean, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be saving money in the long run, because you're not gonna be going to the hospital as much.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I think based on how the system is set up, it's supposed to cost more because it's really counterproductive to them if you eat good.
Mm-hmm.
So what they want to do is they want to raise the price and have people complaining about the price. That's why, like you were saying, yeah, you can get $1 burger, but you know, a head of lettuce or something that's non-GMO is going to cost you almost $6 or better. And that's what they want, because then it will push you towards that burger or towards eating that junk food versus buying the organic stuff that will be healthier for you.
Brother Tony told me your insurance will be cheaper though. Healthier?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now you eat bad, now your insurance out.
Because that's what they ask you. Do you smoke? Do you drink?
Yeah.
Got a heart condition? Yeah.
So what does it mean to be malnourished, and what does it look like? Because we've been conditioned to think, a skinny person is malnourished, but a person that's overweight is also malnourished because they're not getting the proper nutrition to their body, because they're not eating the proper foods. So what's some symptoms of that? Do y'all constipation? Okay. Smell. Okay. What else? Fatigue. Okay. Bad breath. Okay. Anything else?
Constant sweating.
Okay.
And sweat slimy instead of water.
Most diseases are just a lack of proper nutrients. Most of them.
So some of the symptoms are slow wound healing, frequent infections, poor appetite, bloated stomach, swelling throughout the body, bone and joint pain, and changes in the hair and skin. People who live in poverty are more prone to disease due to poor diet. Why is that?
Can't afford nothing.
I see it all the time.
System.
What else?
Repeat the question.
People who live in poverty are more prone to disease due to poor diet.
Because that's what's surrounding their life. That's what's in their neighborhood. And,
Because when you add all that stress on top of that poor diet, that's heavy on a person.
And you also think, if you go back to what you were saying, that it's almost like passed down from mother to father. And you know that poverty at times is a generational thing. And so what ends up being associated with that poverty is also generational poor health and poor quality of health.
education.
Education. Indeed.
I say like the head of the home too, though. Like a strong system at home. Like, because kids will do what they see.
Exactly.
I'm a friend. My daughter, 6 weeks no meat.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get my youngest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a struggle, but I mean, like I told her, I said, I'm gonna have to make you stop eating meat.
What was it that got her to?
My daughter, like she basically, like I've been talking to him for so long, and like she just saw me. Like if I go to a restaurant, there's only 3 places I can eat here in Roanoke. You know, and when I go there, it's like I'm not doing the meat thing. She's like, let me try it. She used to have bad cramps. Done. No cramps no more. Okay. And she was like, yo, my cramps, they no longer exist. And I was like, that's because you putting energy in your body. You know, so she getting it now. She's gonna be that light for her sister though. You know
Exactly.
So we all gotta be a light. He was my light. You know what I'm saying?
So how is food connected to our mood, and how is our emotions being manipulated? Because a lot of times we as people, we're emotional eaters. When we get happy, we get sad. Like,
You are what you eat, though.
mm-hmm.
If a cow sad, if a cow mad, that disease, whatever in that meat is going into your system.
It's a lot of the hormones that go into the meat to produce,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the processed sugars that go into the pastries and the sweets that we eat. That all affects your mood.
So when are we supposed to eat then? We're not supposed to eat when we're sad, when we're bored, when we're, you know what I'm saying, lonely.
When you're hungry.
Exactly.
I just want to
Go ahead.
on the manipulation part though. Just studying marketing and Western, just clearly shows how they play off our emotions with our food, so they promote food and make us feel good when we eat it, or make you relax when you eat it, or supposed to give you energy when you eat it. So that way, they just play off our emotions to get us to want this stuff when really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
For example, a commercial of ice cream, a new flavor of ice cream, and the attention getter is feel good moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, marketing definitely gets you.
But most of that marketing is federal programs.
Exactly.
Federal government programs.
That's all right.
It's like the chemtrails.
The chemtrails,
Well, ain't nobody gonna buy it if you eat it and then you see a bunch of people crying. They gotta be happy.
It tells on your heartstrings. The baby's happy eating the burgers.
So the problem, the corporate kitchen, they have infiltrated every aspect of our life. The corporate kitchen now sells us food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I remember my favorite breakfast food was bacon, egg, and cheese from Hardee's. That joke was banging.
Big spoon. Give me a fork. It's been 8 years.
You should have got that on film.
It's easy and convenient and always there to serve you. That's the corporate kitchen. We have lost our intelligence. Now we just rely on fast food. We rely on a microwave. We can't even go in the kitchen and make a full course meal anymore. You know what I'm saying? That comes from us being conditioned by the corporate kitchen.
The microwave is bad for you, though.
Yes, man.
That's like the remote control to TV. All of that was you know what I'm saying, to make us lazy.
Yep.
We used to be the remote back in the day. Get up
Right,
to
sure
the
did.
Every time.
Yeah.
And how you are with one thing, how you are with everything. So if you're lazy in the kitchen, more than likely you're going to be lazy in every other aspect of your life, because the kitchen is where you're going to find your healing. You know what I'm saying? So, it's cheap and affordable. We already talked about that. Okay, they use high level marketing tools to appeal to our emotions. They study us and manipulate us. I remember I used to like going to the fast food restaurants just to get the toys. You know what I'm saying? I know at one time I had a little toys you can get for the Happy Meal. Yeah,
Still got them.
they still do.
Same plot.
Happy
Yeah.
Meal. Yeah, it's the same.
Like, I would pimp me big time. My daughter had complete sets of everything.
Then they get you with the game pieces.
I started buying
Trying to win money.
I bought my son just a toy and leave the food in there. That's all they want.
Yeah, and then they added like the little playground part to the McDonald's. They still got that too?
Oh, yeah.
They still got that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Burger King too.
Oh, my God.
Burger King really made it convenient. They brought it inside.
Oh man, with the AC.
Because the kids and the families are the driving forces too. When you out, your kids like, I'm hungry, we gotta stop somewhere.
That's it, right
And
now.
they
I
also
see that
make
playground.
it more appealing because of TVs and fast food restaurants. Now they got big screen TVs in these McDonald's.
Make you like
It's
at
all
home.
appear to emotion, yo. All
You
emotion.
know, it's crazy. Like CC's took the romaine and brought iceberg in. Like they used to have romaine lettuce and iceberg. They didn't got rid of the romaine.
Yeah, you already.
So you already. I talked to the manager. I was like, y'all in the way.
CC's is a bit much. I went there.
Iceberg
How
in the
long ago
middle.
is this?
Nah, ain't no nutrition value at
No,
all.
they
You
don't
bet-
just. They just set it in. They set it in. What's the junk? The oil they set it in.
I don't know.
It's like they just set it in starch and let it set, so it be crispy. There ain't nothing in it.
Ain't nothing in
Nothing
it.
in there, man. It's ridiculous, bro.
So they know how to play off them emotions. They know we want crispiness and
Mm-hmm.
watery.
Yeah,
Man, you think
exactly.
you eating health, but shit,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I see you say y'all vegans eating stuff that ain't right.
Our taste buds have been hijacked. We are addicted to fake food. We have to reprogram our taste buds by eating foods, and that's another thing that I see a lot of people who are starting to wake up and becoming more health conscious. Like when they start to eat quote unquote healthy stuff, they don't like it, and it's because they've been eating fake stuff for so long. When they eat something real, there's some people who don't drink water. Some people who don't eat fruits, vegetables, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So their taste buds have been hijacked. And this is a quote from a particular author. His name is Eric Skoloser, author of The Fast Food Nation, sheds light on how chemical chefs manipulate our sense of taste and smell to appeal to our cravings and fuel our addictions. It's the quote. The quote, "The small and elite groups of scientists who create most of the flavor in most food now consumed in the United States are called flavorists. They draw upon a number of disciplines in their work: biology, psychology, and organic chemistry. A flavorist is a chemist with a trained nose and poetic sensibility. Flavors are created by blending different chemicals in tiny amounts, a process governed by scientific principles but demanding a fair amount of art. One flavorist compared his work to composing music. A well-made flavor compound will have a top note followed by a dry down and a leveling off with different chemicals responsible for each stage. The taste of a food can be radically altered by minute changes in the flavoring mix. A little odor goes a long way." So what does that mean to y'all when y'all hear that?
Cookout. When you ride by
Cookout.
That don't smell just like a cookout. That don't taste just like it came off the grill. Like, what they doing back here?
It's like, what is the scent of cookout?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They do have their own.
But what is that scent?
Yeah, what is that?
You said a tea?
They know it's something.
Burnt horse
They know it.
So what is that scent that draws people? That's what it is that draws people.
Early in the morning is the scent of that swine. They go running in droves.
Yes.
So we have to take back our taste buds, control our desires, and not let the corporate kitchen hypnotize us. We are addicted to chemicals in the food, not the food itself. So when we have these cravings of like chips or cookies or certain fast food restaurants, it's not the actual food that you're craving, it's the chemicals in the food that your body is craving. So you got to start cleaning out your body so you can start to take control of your body again.
I've heard that it's also parasites sometimes.
Exactly, yeah, parasites.
Parasites crave the meat, the sugar.
Yep,
and it's
exactly.
not even- they hijack your brain. They're everywhere. Just say, give me this, give me this, give me that.
Yep. You just now finish eating a full course meal. 20 minutes later, you're still hungry. You know what I'm saying? Them parasites.
Parasites in your body.
Yep.
Yeah. From eating like
That's
a
why
lot
I
of
wanna
meat.
ask you, like, when you, like, let's say my stomach growl, that's telling me what? Am I really hungry or?
See,
That's what I don't. That's what
if you
I'm
pay
trying to
close
figure out.
attention, you can tell the difference. When your stomach growling, it's a genuine hunger growl there. But you ever ate like you know how Doritos, you eat one and you automatically just want another one.
Yeah.
It's so spicy and good, tastes feel good on your tongue. It be in that mixture. Like stuff like that to keep you wanting more. So it's more of a craving than that actual stomach growling, feeling that hunger pain. But it take a little, if you pay close attention, you'll start to feel the difference.
To get a better understanding of your body, you got to start fasting. That's how you're gonna start to know when you're hungry and when you're just like you're just reacting. You know what I'm saying? Reacting on your emotions or your desires. So when you start to fast, then you have a better understanding of your body, how your body works.
Yeah, there's a difference between, in my opinion, between your stomach growling and your actual bowels.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Gas in your body. You know what I'm saying?
So the leading causes of death in the U.S. for blacks or African Americans: heart disease, cancer, strokes, diabetes, homicide, HIV/AIDS, chronic lower respiratory disease. So let me ask y'all a question. When it comes to police brutality, who's in here had a family member or friend die from like being shot by a police officer? You? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. And then when it comes to cancer, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, who's in here had a family member or or friend die from? Okay. So that's something like our people don't even like acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we really have to start putting our attention on, because the disease is killing us faster than a lot of like the police. Not saying we gotta ignore that, but at the same time we want to take back our health, because that's killing us faster than what the police officers are doing. And my question is like, how come our community leaders don't talk about this type of stuff? The reason why they don't talk about this stuff because a lot of them are also attached to the corporate kitchen. They are eating the same foods that are coming out the corporate kitchen. They are also self-destructing themselves by consuming this lifestyle. So
keep up with the Joneses, like the big steaks, the cigars.
Yeah.
Well, you see a lot of them are sponsored by McDonald's.
Yeah.
So they're not going to speak out against it.
I know, I was crazy. I did a speed camp and had Bojangles sponsored. I'm just saying, but it was free. I'm like, you know, they're doing a speed camp about the Easter chicken.
Sponsored by Walmart or
Say it again.
I said have it because companies is all making money from it, and so they've got their hands in everything. I tied to the leaders.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I was going to Planet Fitness a lot, like they like the day, like on Fridays they had like free pizza.
Oh man, are you serious?
Bro, once a month, free pizzas. I'm talking about they had droves. He lying. I used to be out there don't work out.
Oh man. So next thing, like paying for our own demise. Who's seen the movie? What's it called? Super Size Me.
Yeah, I seen it. The dude who ate
for 30 days. Nothing but McDonald's.
What would cause a human being to want to eat themselves to death?
Lack of something else to do.
Lack of
depression, definitely.
Depression.
And
And
if you're depressed, then you generally don't want to do anything to benefit yourself. So it's easy to say, you know, you're hungry instead of going and cooking something. You just go pick up something. Yeah, that's what it is. In my opinion.
So how do we balance the depression that we are feeling? Like how do we like counteract that? Because that's also tied into like health and wellness.
You gotta meditate. You gotta get your mind right.
You gotta have somebody that can't do it by yourself.
Exactly.
A lot of people who are depressed can't do it by themselves. You know, because they're already. I don't want to say weak-minded.
Because they weak-minded. Just trust. I mean, I was weak-minded for years. I mean, you call me weak-minded, I wouldn't be offended.
Or small-minded.
Or small, whatever.
More information.
I ain't been doing the red meat, but the chicken, bruh. Like, you couldn't tell me I'm gonna eat beef and chicken until I met this joker made it nasty. I'm like, oh my God.
So you say you eat chicken? Or
Dude,
you don't eat chicken?
I don't eat meat. Period. Like none.
How long you been doing that?
Bro, how long I've been rolling with you?
Oh,
A minute, ain't it?
yeah, it's been a little minute now.
Yeah, like I know. Dude, you talking about energy? I'm 47. I'll run with anybody in here. Okay. Let's go in the gym and get it in. The energy is real. Trust me.
Energy is definitely
It is real.
It is.
And I've been fighting back and forth for years. I went vegan for 4 years, me and my whole family. But we were kind of doing the pseudo-vegan patties.
Yeah, exactly.
We were also doing vegetables. Started eating meat again. So I've been back and forth. As of right now, I haven't had a piece of meat in about 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And he's right. The energy is real, bro. And I don't eat all the time. I don't eat all day, every day. Like today, I woke up this morning, I had to be at work at 7. I had a tall, warm glass of lemon water. Went to work, drank nothing but water. Got off at 3, went home, and made a veggie quesadilla with avocado and tomato.
That sounds good.
So I'm told him on Facebook, but I have to have a hip replacement, and I have to lose like 60 pounds in order to have it. And my doctor put me on this protein-based diet, which is strictly meat.
Hey, hold on. What did you just say? What did you just say? That word, the first word that came out your mouth. Doctor.
Right.
Bruh.
But he told me 4 ounces of meat 3 times a day. And so basically 12 ounces of meat a day.
For what?
That's why I'm here.
Well, hold on. I mean, no disrespect. Is meat going, bro? You know how long meat sets?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was telling him.
7 days.
Yeah, 7 days for it to digest.
So meat you had a week ago is still in your stomach now, just getting digested.
See, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Bro, look, before I met him, like,
it's
it's
life,
life, bro.
Yeah, it's life.
That's
Yeah,
what we say. Would you say a healthy lifestyle?
yeah,
So you
yeah.
ain't
It's
gonna die,
it's a lifestyle.
it's to live.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to live.
And it's the fact that doctors don't have 1 hour of nutrition.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Not
They know
one.
nothing about diet.
And teach them.
Yeah.
And they don't want to learn that. They don't want to learn that. They want to learn how to medicate people.
Ain't no cure. Ain't no cure in the what is it? Ain't no cure in the cure. Ain't no money in the cure. The money is in the disease. The money is in the
Man,
sickness.
when I worked at the hospital, man, some of the most unhealthiest people in the hospital were the doctors and nurses. You know what I'm saying? So that right there lets you know they don't know anything about health because they're not modeling health at all. They're still eating McDonald's.
My physician came in to talk to me. He looked like he just finished smoking a cigarette right before he walked in the door to tell me about how I need to take care of my high blood pressure.
Ah, man.
You need to, when I look at doctors now, I try to find spiritual doctors.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody that got some ties with spirituality. Because they're going to be straightforward with you. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them, but I'm not dealing with my doctor from India. She an Indian. So she a nut freak. I mean, a health freak. So I was like, I'm doing turmeric. She's like, keep doing it. She's like, whatever you doing, keep doing it. Your blood pressure low. I don't take no blood pressure medicine no more.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? She was like, whatever you doing, keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? She ain't telling me to go out here, do this. And, man, come on, man. 12
What
hours.
you say you was taking?
Turmeric.
In the powder or the actual?
I got the organic. Right?
I think
the root is
The root.
Yeah, it's the organic junk that I got from the co-op.
Okay.
One thing we have to focus on here is this brother is asking for help.
Oh,
Exactly.
Now, the first thing that you need to do with Brother Anthony is to find out what your substitutes, what your replacement, not substitutes, what your replacements are for that meat to get the protein that you need. And one of the things, first of all, to show you and not to criticize doctors in general, however, you know, for a hip replacement, the first thing that I want you to do is to lose some weight, okay? Because it is very hard to balance the body weight on that knee prostheses, okay? Lemon water.
Lemons? Yes, ma'am.
How about lime?
Yeah, I'm good with all the vegetables, fruits.
Now, in the morning, I'm very good. And the reason I'm going to say the lime water is because it will help to cleanse your intestines. That's the one thing that you want to try to do, I'm sure, is to get rid of some of that meat as fast as you can. Because we don't think of, somebody mentioned about parasites, okay, or isn't that a wonderful atmosphere?
Exactly.
For parasites to grow with all that decaying, rotting meat. And sometimes they say we're very cold about the way we say it, but that's being real. It has to rot out of your system. And then the people that don't drink enough water, they have a rough time. They even go through constipation and all kinds of gastric situations because of this decaying matter in their body. So that's the best thing. I know Anthony can get you on course with more so than I can in this setting of how you are going to replace all that blood and meat and everything he wants you to eat. And but the lime water. And if you don't have lime, do lemon. Lemon water. Maybe 3 times a day. Whenever you're going to drink water, which you should be drinking plenty, you know, then put that lemon in that water.
It's definitely the first thing in the morning.
And at night. And at night. And when you can do it, you know, to make it easy on yourself, is you just wash your lemons, you know, and I do mine in a hot water bath. I do let them sit there for a little while and get nice so I can get all my juice and everything out of it. And I actually sieve it, so I use the pulp as well.
And you use the skin a lot.
That's where your oil is, absolutely. That a lot of people don't realize that your oil, the healing part of it, is in the skin. So that's why I say I do it just a hot bath. Let it soften up a little bit, so that's more than about 5-10 minutes at the most. That could be too much. And it gets softened up and everything, and then you slice it. And you sip that in the water. I would also suggest, I don't know if you all drink water out of a faucet or not. I don't.
I don't
But
either.
again, you have to be careful about this too.
Yeah, you're right.
The reason being because of the fact that this water can also leach the chemicals
Plastic.
from these
Yeah.
recycled whatever, can leach into your water. But I do say, being economical, we're probably not wealthy people, so you boiling that water will take care of a lot for you. And once you boil it, you can put it into a container. If you want to do a Brita system, which is a charcoal filter, that's great, because charcoal is really a good cleaner. But for the inside of your body and your intestines, drink that lemon water. In the morning, drink that lemon water at night. And that will help get some of the toxins out and move that out of your system. And nuts, yes, I am a eater of nuts. So that was my
I didn't mean to hijack the meeting.
Oh no, you good. No, you good, man. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do.
I like to add one quick thing.
My bad.
The first time when I first cut meat for I went months with no meat. I dropped about 15 pounds just by cutting meat.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
exactly.
The old meat out. I mean,
meat and dairy.
I probably
meat and dairy.
chewed like 8 times in one day. Like throughout that time, it was just eating all the greens and all the veggies. It's just coming.
Exactly. It's gonna come out.
Take a little walk every day. You cut the meat. You walk 15 pounds.
Can you walk?
I mean, as far as distance, I need like a cane assistance. And, you know, that ain't me, bro. When I'm usually pretty active, man. So this, and not being able to coach. Like I got a coaching offer today for football, and I don't think I can do it. Which I love football.
Yeah.
I can't.
You got to focus on self first, bro.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself.
Hold on, go.
Before you get into all this, I was a nutritionist for years, and one easy way to ease your way into losing weight is something where you don't have to change your diet at all, and that is fast. Fast 1 day a week.
Yep.
And every year that end up to 52 days you did not eat. And it programs your mind and your body to think different ways and feel different ways about food. And the way you do it is you just keep juices around you or water. And anytime you have that urge to eat, you just drink. And what I did was that's one way I got my master's in nutrition was I did a 77-day fast because I wanted to see. Well, I didn't know I was going to start out that way. I started like 40. I was going to go for 40 days. Like Moses and Buddha, they got their enlightenment at 40 days. Well, obviously I didn't get it. The first day I said, where is it? So I just kept going and finally went to 77. But before then, I was not hungry. If you fast correctly, if you know how to fast, and do your evacuation of bowels through intervals, okay, then you will be hungry the first 3 daes. But then after the third day, you'll never be hungry again. You'll have mental hunger. You're like, oh boy, that sure tastes good. But you don't have physical hunger where you feel you have to have it. I didn't get that until like my 60th day. And it came to the point where I felt like if I didn't have something to eat, I'd take some bark off the tree. And that's true hunger. When you go into starvation. But for all that time, I wasn't fat. I've never been fat, but I had muscle I had to lose because after football, I was bulked all up. And I knew I had to lose that because it was going to turn into fat. So that's one of the easiest ways you can do. Just fast 1 day a week, and you drink your juices, and hopefully fresh juice, not canned juice.
Hey, brother Mo had something to ask.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like everybody in here, you agree to not eat meat? Cause I eat meat. I eat turkey breast. I eat like all turkey. I don't eat no.
I'm not an advocate of saying like not telling people not to eat meat because it's you got some of the most highly spiritual people in the world who eat meat still. Like people like certain tribes in Africa, they still consume meat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that you don't have to eat. But you would want to cut down on your meat consumption for real.
No, I don't eat no meat. I don't eat no. Only thing I eat is turkey.
Okay.
I don't eat no. Well, I eat chicken a little bit here and there.
Just try to make sure it's like no chemicals.
Yeah, make sure it's
Like they got some products out here. I think Purdue. I think they're a Christian company.
Okay.
So all that stuff is farmed.
Yeah.
So they don't put no preservative. They don't put nothing in that stuff.
You want to try to find companies that produce meat. The companies that produce meat that sponsor the American Diabetes Association, that sponsor the American Party. You want to get rid of them. You not want to buy Purdue, Tyson, any of those. You know.
So Purdue ain't good.
They sponsor.
Oh well, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't eat it, so I just thought they was straight with it.
Like local farmers.
Local farmers, yeah.
I was getting
Yeah, you gotta go local.
Same thing. We got chicken farmers.
Yeah. That's the best meat to get right there. If you can get it local, get local. Like for real. You want to still eat meat, try to get it local. And you'll be good with that.
Let me ask you. You said don't buy from the ones that sponsor the Diabetes Association or Heart Association, anything like that. Now, what is your reason for saying that?
Because the American Diabetes Association, they have recipe planners on their websites that have meatloaf, chicken, barbecue chicken, all of these foods that are primarily responsible for causing diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they're telling you that you should eat these foods, when obviously you should not be eating these foods, why is that? Why are they doing that? And it's because these companies these meals that they are telling you should eat are basically recommendations from the companies that are sponsoring. Right. There was a recommendation from the companies that are sponsoring. Just like Dan is. Dan is a sponsor of Susan B. Coleman, breast cancer. Dairy has been linked from numerous researchers to be a problem with breast cancer.
Yep.
They have pink ribbons, pink caps on
all emotions. All playing on emotions.
Exactly.
All playing on emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention real quick, the fact that you have, they call them checkpoints, where you have federal programs that provide money to restaurants and to other food companies. Mm-hmm. They provide money for them to hire people to figure out new ways of pushing food, like the double-decker triple cheese, bacon covered in gravy. They got people in rooms like Domino's for one, from what I've seen. Now, I'm not gonna say that everything I've seen is the gospel, but I'm not gonna deny it either. But they have people who are sitting in rooms literally to come up with ideas for new products to put out. That's why they always got these new pizzas.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day is something new.
Yeah.
And so they hire these people to basically push the meat industry, basically push the dairy industry, basically push the sugar industry. All of these companies that make these products pay the federal government, sponsor the federal government, sponsor these associations, and in turn,
they get the favors.
Money, Kyle.
I thank you for that. I just thought that should have been brought out. And when we speak about that corporate kitchen, let us not forget that every single one of those foods are not prepared fresh.
Nope.
And so therefore, if it's not fresh, it has to be what?
Preserved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All of this, have you ever noticed now babies are being born bloated up?
Yeah.
All of these things. The milk and so forth and so on. You ask the average female, because you all are productive age, so hear me well. I tell them like this, and if they get a little upset, they look back on it and laugh. Those growths on your cheeks, they fill up with milk.
Yep.
for your baby.
Yep.
You know, they're not just there to look good or attract anybody. They are like the cow feeds its baby, and the deer and everything else. Now, if you want your baby to be healthy, fathers help the mothers. You know, then you have to consume the right things to make sure that these jugs fill up with the right kind of milk.
Exactly.
All right? Just saying. Okay.
All right, I'm almost at the end. So now we get into the healthcare system crisis. We rely on healthcare system versus natural living. Like I said, I worked in the hospital. Man, that was probably like one of the most worst experiences in my life. Just seeing the environment is just dirty.
Tell me just that.
The food that they're feeding the patients when the patients are already sick, they're feeding the processed foods, the starchy foods, the dairy. Like these are the same foods that put them in there, and they're eating them. You know what I'm saying? And then like you go to they have all of the hospitals have like little restaurants in there. So you go to the restaurant, you still getting the same types of food. So there's no way around it. So blacks are not treated the same when it comes to healthcare. Blacks are twice as likely not to have insurance, and when we do, we get a lower quality of care. A special committee from the Institute of Medicine of the National Science reviewed more than 600 studies on racial inequality in healthcare and found that unequal treatment based on race occurred in virtually every major treatment area, including heart disease, diabetes, kidney disease. The committee's most troubling discovery was that these patterns of unequal treatment result in higher death rate for black people. The fast and the fake food sets the motion up for us to fall into the trap of the healthcare system. It's an endless cycle. I have an aunt who's taking like 15 different types of medication, 3 or 4 different types of blood pressure medicine, and she'll tell you that none of this stuff is working. But guess what? She still takes it every day.
That's what my grandmother did. She 86, and every time I go over there, she said the drug dealer just left.
That's real.
But that's real.
Yeah, exactly.
What they call them?
Yep.
Legal drug dealers.
And some of those drugs nowadays, like a lot of the youth now are using those drugs. Like what's the drugs, the street drugs out, the medication that the pain pills and stuff. Yep.
Well, the one thing is when they give you a drug, they got to give you another drug to combat the side effects, and then you need another drug for that. And then before you know it, that's how you end up with 15, 20 pills.
Yeah.
You trying to take a drug to counteract all the side effects you got.
So Mr. Smith died at the Y. Gave him one drug to cancel out that drug. So the problem persisted and he died by taking this drug. You know what I'm saying? So you taking so much medicine, they counteract on each other. So your body don't know which way to go.
And it's all part of the same beast, because these pharmaceutical companies, they also sponsor these American Health Association. They all sponsor. They all feed money into this same machine.
Yep.
Because it's all the same.
All of it's intertwined. All of it's intertwined.
It's all the money, man.
They know what the food's doing to you.
So, according to Food Trust and the Philadelphia Health Management Corporation, low-income communities are the hardest hit by obesity because food inequality is rampant in America's cities. Those with the fewest resources will have least access to the essential components of a healthy diet. How do we fix that as a community, as a people? Like, how do we fix that? Educate.
Education and alternatives too. Like when we was living in Lincoln Terrace, all the time I see the young mothers, 2, 3 kids in the store. She got an EBT card. It's nothing but chips, soda, Debbie cakes. But that's the closest she can get to without having to call a cab.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say. What grocery store in this area? What's the closest grocery store in this area?
Food line or the food giant? Food giant.
Don't count. It's Save-A-Lot.
The one right there where
Save-A-Lot
is terrible.
Yeah.
Boy, that don't get food for nothing.
It's right there at the corner of Melrose and Shaker's Crossing.
Yeah, that's food giant.
They got your milk and eggs and your frozen goods. Maybe a few vegetables.
Men got to step up too, though.
Yeah.
We got to stop producing these kids. And I mean, the woman is, you know what I'm saying, held accountable too, but We got to stop. I'm tired of seeing moms pushing carts with kid in the hand, like and a baby right there. Like, don't let your woman walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to step up, bro.
When we speak about education, though, this is the most important factor because you spoke earlier about the microwave. I was at one point astounded at how many young people, and when I say young people in productive age between, say, 18 to 35, that do not know how to cook.
Yeah,
You know where
exactly.
that come from, though? Taking all the stuff out of schools. Culinary art, where is that at now?
They don't do culinary art?
They don't even do home.
No,
They don't.
They don't do none of that. They don't do like engineering, like all that stuff they used to have at Clemens. They shut all that stuff down.
Wow.
So that's something that we need to be the bishop, go right downtown. Like, bro, you got to do that.
Yeah.
I worked in school since '96. Food is horrible. I mean, horrible. I'm like, I be asking, what is that? They be like, I don't know, the cooks.
Prison,
like,
prison food.
like in prison.
Yeah.
I'm just
Now it's run by
Let me tell you
Sodexo. Now school food is run by Sodexo too.
That's
okay.
outsourced. You know, and that I will have to say parents did try to step up. But that's one thing we have to learn, the old saying, the power of the people. That's what we've got to get going again because, you know, in this area that we live in, we face the reality that by the time they involve the public, it's a done deal. They're only doing it as procedural. We had the public meeting. Okay. But you already knew what it was that you were going to do. You knew that you were going to be poisoning these children.
Yeah.
Somebody put out something on Facebook with a fruit cup and said, if you believe that this should be served in schools, like it. I think I saw two like it. You know.
That's crazy.
Because now somebody beating up somebody.
Yeah.
Whoa, you got 1,000 likes, you know.
But see, that's why they fighting though. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
What you're putting in their body. Like, what's the who got the school that got organic? Like, is it in China, Singapore, somewhere?
I forgot.
Organic
California.
food. Like no
That's it.
behavioral
And
problems,
the children
none of
need
that.
help.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People aware. Like that mess with your brain.
Yeah.
Dude, I look. I'm in the school system. Kid go to lunch. After lunch,
Yep.
That's it.
then you wonder why we fail in tests because of what you feed them.
So how do you then I think how do you take a group of individuals that almost live in survival day-to-day mode, and how do you begin to change that perception? Because if you look at it, most of our people live from day to day, check to check, and some days they're just trying to survive. So because of survival, they stay in survival mode so much they never had an opportunity to think outside of that. So how do you get to that point to where you can begin to instill things within people that yes, survival is part of the process, but longevity, you want to have some longevity to your life, to your children's lives, and make a difference. Because I mean, I sit on different boards and I talk to different people, but a lot of meetings that I do go to that deal with like Healthy Roanoke Valley and all these other meetings with other individuals, we still come down to the issue of how do you change that way of thinking from somebody that says, hey man, I ain't trying to worry about fresh fruits and vegetables. Man, I'm wondering if my lights gonna be on when I get home. Or I'm wondering when this is that when I get home. And it's so, the conditions are so stacked up that it's like if you only address one, then the other 10 is gonna be one of the ones to make everything else top and fall. So it's like, how do you begin to instill within your community that it is a real importance that, you know, the way you eat and the way your lifestyle is makes a difference when you got to try to bring them out of survival mode.
Got to bring statistics up. Got to get the skills.
I think also being patient. You got to be patient with the people, educating them, because it took us a minute to get in this situation. It's going to take a little minute for us to get out of the situation. So we're going to have to just continue to educate ourselves, be patient, and we have to be the models for health and wellness. You know what I'm saying? And then each person we encounter, we constantly enlighten them. You know what I'm saying? Teach them other ways to eat and how to live.
And it would be great if the school system actually made a mandatory, growing class, like to grow.
Yeah,
that would be great. I took an agriculture class when I was in school. Like, I can't believe But you got to look at it. It's that No Child Left Behind. That's where everything went downhill. Because now you're not trying to push. You're pushing a test. You're not pushing education, man.
Right.
You're programming kids to take a test
Right.
instead of programming them to survive and to live. You know what I'm saying? So now they come to school. They're like, man, we got to do this SOL.
Yeah.
They ain't even talking about their grades no more.
Yeah,
we got
exactly.
straight A students.
Yeah.
This kid a straight A student. She ain't worried about her grades. She worried about trying to pass his test.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I'm saying? So my point is, like, the government did that. It's programming.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we got to kick the dough in. I'm not talking about for the kids, but these jokers downtown.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
That, man. Like, period.
But we do have things in place, and we just need to educate ourselves and educate one another. Because I think it is Fishburne, if I'm not mistaken. We were out at Fishburne doing Kwanzaa class,